The UCI Women's Road World Cup was in the town of Vargarda in southern Sweden as changeable weather greeted the peloton to the two-race weekend of the 6th and 7th rounds. A heavy shower before Friday's team time trial thankfully passed over, and by the time the later teams rolled down the start ramp, the roads were beginning to dry. Favourites for a third consecutive victory were the world champions of Specialized-lululemon, who'd travelled to Sweden several days before to specifically prepare for the race.
You know, you have myself, Trixie and Eleanor returning from last year, and then we have Lisa and Carmen, who are both national champions, and then Lauren. So it's, you know, it's a strong team. I think today's going to be really interesting because there haven't been that many TTTs this year to kind of see where we stack up against the other teams, and then what we need to get better at going up for the Worlds.
Several teams were expected to challenge the American team's dominance, however, including the Rabobank team of World Cup leader Marianne Vos and the Australian Orica-AIS team that included Swedish time trial champion Johansson.
I love this World Cup and to be at home racing in Sweden, and yeah, it's nice. It's very exciting, and yeah, and as well when you have such a strong team, it would be awesome to make a good fast time and have a good day out there.
Sure enough, Specialized-lululemon's preparation paid off as the well-drilled team set a blistering pace around the 43-kilometre course. Passing the Bulls Dormans team in the final kilometre, the world champions crossed the line in a time of 53 minutes 59 seconds, setting their rivals a near impossible target. A time of 55 minutes 25 seconds for Orica-AIS was to see the Australian team briefly slot into second place, before being pushed down to third by Vos's Rabobank, who finished just 38 seconds behind Specialized-lululemon.
It was really difficult to know what to expect here because it was the first team time trial of the whole season. So yeah, every year all the teams change, and yeah, we might have been the favourites again, but for us it was really, we had no clue where we were actually standing, so we were not sure at all, no.
Similarly changeable weather greeted the riders for the 132-kilometre road race 2 days later, but the heavy rain that fell on the start was soon to give way to far better conditions. Among the names to watch would doubtless be two-time world champion Giorgia Bronzini of Wiggle Honda, who came into the race after winning an incredible 6 consecutive stages in the Route de France.
When you come in a World Cup, the atmosphere a little bit different because it's one of the important races in the year, and I've never been here in Sweden.
Among those keen to impress in her home World Cup was Swedish champion Emilia Farlin of the high-tech products team.
I remember from the years I've done this race, coming onto the hill and you just see the crowd standing there. They have the drums going and you see the signs with all like the Swedish riders' names on it and people screaming, and it's just a good atmosphere. And I think for the women that's one of the best races throughout the year with the crowds and the cheering, and it's just being on home soil then, and it just lifts you a little bit extra and it gives you a little push up the hill that you need.
The early laps of the 11-kilometre circuit saw several promising attacks, but the winning move was formed on lap 7 as Rabobank's Roxanne Knetterman escaped with Orica-AIS's Loes Groenewijk. Behind the duo, the peloton bided its time, allowing them to build a useful advantage before counter-attacks saw 8 more riders swell the lead group to 10. Now present were Vos and Johansson, Stevens and Van Dijk, Rosella Ratto of High-Tech Products, Amy Peters of Argos Shimano, Anna van der Breggen of Senger's Ladies and Bronzini. Having thinned the group down to 6 on the penultimate lap, disaster struck for Vos as a puncture forced the World Cup leader to change bikes. Her sportsmanlike opponents refused to capitalise on the misfortune though, and she was quickly allowed to rejoin the group. Vos attacked on the final climb of the race, and only Peters and Johansson were able to follow. Van Dijk managed to fight her way across the gap in the closing kilometres, but as Vos hit the final corner first, the others had no answer to the world champion sprint, and she cruised to her second victory in the Swedish race. Johansson beat Peters in the sprint for second place, but 75 points for the win were enough to secure Vos an incredible 5th victory in the World Cup, with one more race to come.
It was a special one. It was a really aggressive race, and of course I could take also the win here in the World Cup classification, so that makes it extra special. And then coming back after some back problems, I was in doubt about my shape, but I don't have to have these doubts anymore, I think.
With the overall World Cup now in the bag, Vos can head into the final round in Plouay, Western France, with one of her big season targets well and truly hit.